Bonjour tout le monde. Hi everyone. Today I'm here to, pretty excited to talk about the Atlantic Living Lab, sorry. So this is for us a pretty nice project collaborative project actually, in the Atlantic province, of course. I'm from Quebec, but I'm close enough to know the differences from those provinces to here, Kamloops. So first of all, just want to touch on how there's like a shift in regime in the last couple of years. A few examples of that is, well, we all know that historically the Maritimes or the Atlantic province have less fire, longer fire intervals because of the weather, so more rain and also more bigger like proportion of mixed wood stands. But in the last couple of years, we have seen an increase in WUI, so the Wildland Urban Interface fire. So we can see the photo there is in Newfoundland, so a fire that affected the WUI in May. And we also come back, we did the research there in May. So in Newfoundland, they had pretty much no snow that year. They had a very dry season also. They call June, the locals there, they call June January because there's a lot of rain and it's cold and it's raining, but that year it was not. So in 2025, there was also another fire in August. So we went back in Newfoundland. There was two fires that damaged a lot of structures. So that's all new for the residents, for the agency there. And it's the same thing for other provinces. So Nova Scotia in 2023, they experienced the largest fire on record. They had 200 structure damage. And same thing this year in 2025, I think they have around 200 structures that was damaged in fire. So lastly, in New Brunswick, so 2025 was also one of the largest worst fire season on record, and they also closed like all the activities in Crown Land, so campings and hiking, ATVs, and whatnot. So there's a big shift we are seeing right now in the last couple of years, and that's why this project is so important to us and to them, of course. So the Atlantic Living Lab is well, first of all, it's a collaborative project. It's Newfoundland, Labrador, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia. And it is led by the agency. I'm from FPInnovations, but we're only going to do the research side and help them do that project. But all the problems and all those key challenges were identified by them. All right. So it's 4 interconnected projects. The first one is advancing fire behavior in the Acadian forest. Second one is studying fire and blowdown fuels, mostly for Nova Scotia. And 3 and 4 for Newfoundland, Labrador. So public perception of fuel breaks, long-term fuel breaks, and fire smart demonstration site. So I'm going to go a little bit more in depth in those projects. So the first one is advancing fire behavior in the Acadian forest. The big part of that project is we're going to develop an experimental burn site in New Brunswick. And on that site, we're going to do experimental burns, and we're going to, try to address some of the limitation that Leo talked about a little bit. So as we all know, the FVP has those fuel types, but the Acadian forest is pretty unique. We have lot more diversity in species. It's a lot more mixed wood. We could see a lot more deciduous on the ground, and the FBP doesn't really do justice to those fuel types. So what we try to do is gonna develop, predictive metrics with those burns. We're going to try to develop some modeling techniques in those different types of stands, and put some fire on the ground and have some empirical data on those types of stands as well. So this is going to help, of course, the agency to be better, to kind of predict better the fire behavior in those types of stands. So that's the first project, mostly for New Brunswick. Second project is gonna look mostly on blowdown fuels. So Nova Scotia has experienced hurricanes in the past, and that brings a lot of blowdowns on the landscape. And so what we're gonna try to do with those stands is, well, kind of the same thing as the Acadian forest. Have some empirical data on those stands and try to improve our risk assessment on those stands. So if we know the fire behavior better on those stands, we can try to assess better these stands around community or stuff like that. So again, it's for the agency to the impact is going to go directly to the agency and try to be more resilient with those types of stands. So project 3 and 4 is mostly for Newfoundland and Labrador. So in Labrador, they're gonna establish a community fuel breaks in Port St. Hope, I think. And what they're gonna do there is also have a public perception research, so a social research, to see how people's gonna react to that on a long-term scale. So what you need to know is the Atlantic residents, they have way less exposure to fire. So this is all new to them, the WRFI fires and a lot more fires on the landscape. So what we're trying to do here is to see what their perception of those risk mitigation strategies are going to be. And for the 4 projects, again, it's for Newfoundland. This is going to be a fire smart demonstration site. So this is a little bit on that topic as well, to try to build some knowledge for the residents, for the people there, to see what are those risk mitigation strategies, and try to democratize all these strategies, because it's all new to them. Not to say that they're behind on those stuff, but it's just less exposure. So like those fires in Newfoundland, people were just saying that's all new to us. We never had fire like that in a WUI. So it's a lot different than here in BC, their exposure. So those projects are really important for the agency to try to have those mitigation strategy and see how people's going to react to them. Just to touch on that, it's not just a 3-year project. Of course, the WRFI is going to be 3 years, but the New Brunswick experimental burn site is going to have a long-term permit, and it's going to continue. So the agency can do some training. They can put other experimental burns on the site and have more knowledge on their stance. And same for the Fire Smart demonstration site. It's going to stay, and it's going to be like a public site that's going to be there for everyone, and to have like education and formation and accelerate the knowledge spread to residents. But yeah, that's it. That's it for me. Thank you so much.